I invite you now to join me in the spirit of prayer, meditation, and reflection. These are the words of my colleague, Reverend Gretchen Haley. What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? In these days, we find ourselves too often stuck with these questions on repeat. What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? We grasp at signs and markers, articles of news and analysis, Facebook memes and forwarded emails, as if the new zodiac, capable of forecasting all that life may yet bring our way. As if we could prepare. As if life had made any promises of making sense or turning out the way we had thought and hoped for. As if we are not also actors in this unfolding story. For this time together, we gather to surrender to the mystery, to release ourselves from the needing to know, the yearning to have it all figured out, and also the burden of believing we either have all the control or none. Here in our song and our silence, our stories and our sharing, we make space for a new breath, a new healing, a new possibility to take root. That is courage, forged into the fire of our coming together and felt in the spirit that comes alive in this act of faith. That we still believe a new world is possible. That we are creating it already, here and now. I invite you to join me in a time of silence. The theme for this month is trust. And I think there's an interplay between belief, faith, and trust. And I know as Unitarian Universalists, the word faith can be kind of a bit of a struggle. Faith in what? Let's explore that. I think I have faith after Ken sharing that song. But belief is kind of looser, and we often talk in Unitarian Universalism that we are a community of shared values and differing beliefs. And we feel quite comfortable with beliefs because we can have different beliefs. And that suits us Unitarian Universalists just fine. And the shared values, we kind of, we're working in that one. We think we have shared values. And in the back of the order of service, in case you've got any questions, there's 6 of them, surrounded by love. And most of us are okay with love, but some of us struggle like, well, what do we mean by love? That's next week's sermon. I needed more time than an Action Sunday to explore that one. But I think ultimately what faith is being connected to our deepest values, being connected to the gifts we bring into this world. That's what faith is. So I ask you, do you believe in yourselves? Do you trust yourselves? Do you have faith in yourselves? And if you're anything like me, the answer to that question is it depends what we're talking about. Think about it. What do you trust yourself with? What do you have faith with? And what do you believe of yourself? And expand that to community, expand that to a country, expand that to democracy, and expand that to, do you believe it's going to be okay? Now, the country and the democracy right now, I'm struggling with. And I see some nodding heads out there. I think many of us are concerned, is it going to be okay? And I know my good friend and colleague, Reverend Mike Barnhouse, wrote this beautiful song, All Will Be Well. I had a conversation with her, and I say, I love the song, but I don't agree with the message. I can't assume all is going to be well. And I think when we look at our youngster generation, they have this existential concern about climate change. But we are called to address that. I do have trust and faith that if we engage this, we can overcome such existential crises. Because anything that's human created can be human corrected. So let's explore this belief, faith, and trust through a story. The story is this person. I don't know where the tradition comes from, but the story is this person. He's walking in the desert. He's been walking for days. He used up his last water 2 days ago. And he's dying of thirst. And eventually he sees this run-down cottage in the distance. He goes to the cottage hoping, praying, begging there could be water there. And he opens the door, and to his relief, there's a water pump in the cottage. And he's one of these old water pumps, and he starts pumping and pumping and pumping, but no water comes out. And he's heartbroken. But then he notices in the corner this little bottle of water with a cap on it, so it hasn't evaporated. And he picks it up, he thinks, oh yeah, I can drink some water. But then he leaves the notes in it, he sees a note in it saying, to get water pump to start, pour the water into the pump. And he's looking at it and he said, what if it doesn't work? Maybe I should just drink the water. At least that would give me another few days of living. Should I pour it in? Now, belief is that the water could start the pump. Faith is pouring the water in. And trust is when he starts pumping, the water comes out. And he has all the water he could need. He bathes himself, he washes himself, he drinks. He's so happy he's got so much water. But then he looks at the end of the note and says, he sees it says, please fill up the bottle of water again. And he does that. And he writes at the bottom of the note, trust me, it works. Trust me, it works. And ultimately that's what trust is when we believe, we know that something has happened before and we believe it will happen next. But faith is taking that act. And I've mentioned this before in relation to the Hanukkah story in the Jewish tradition. That the faith was lighting that candle, knowing they didn't have enough oil for 9 days, but it did burn for 9 days. That was the act of faith. So I invite you to think, what do you have faith in? Faith is not this idea of certainty. It's a little bit like driving at night. You know, it's like you've got headlights and you can only see as far as your headlights go, but you trust that is enough to get you to the next step. And for me, it's a little bit like using Google Maps. Because you're totally lost in this area, you're looking it up and it says, turn left. Okay, turn right, turn left, and you just trust that it's going to get you there. But remember in the old days where you had a map, you could see the whole route? We have faith in a lot of things. So when Unitarian Universalists say you don't have faith, I don't believe you. We have faith in things. We may struggle with ideas of God. We may not have faith in God, but we have things we have faith in. And one of the things I have faith in is I have faith in this community because I believe this community can basically care for each other. I believe we can change our local community. And I think we can bring goodness, love, and our values, which I'm deeply connected to, and I believe you are too, into this world, because our world will be a better place if our values are made manifest in our community. That's what I have faith in, and I believe you have that faith too. So faith ultimately is, what are you connected to your deepest values? That's what we have faith in. So take those values and take them out into the world. Those values of transformation, of generosity, of justice. Those values of pluralism. Take those values into the world, because that's what the world needs to repair. And our world is in a fragile place right now, and it's up to us to change that. And I have faith we can.